Tip top of the morning to y'all. Welcome to the lowdown. Let me get a sip of this mud here real quick. All right. Welcome to the lowdown. I'm your host, Job Low. Thank God we're back, baby. Thank God we're back. Guys, I had a little change of plans yesterday, Sometimes you gotta roll with the punches. You just gotta do what's delivered to you. Radiation team called me yesterday. I've been waiting on them to call, for a little minute here. And I already went up there, did my consultation, gotten the 4D CT scanner there, got my mold set up, and I've just been waiting upon my schedule. So they called me yesterday and they asked me, like, when would you like to start? I told them, 2 months ago, buddy, let's get this done. Let's get this knocked out. So they're going to squeeze me in today. I got to drive 2 hours up there. I got to drive 2 hours back. The appointment takes about 10 minutes. Who cares, man? Man, I'm just happy I'm getting some medicine. Thankful I'm getting some medicine in this world. Lucky people. Very lucky people. And I ain't going to complain about a little driving. Like I've said on this show before, I used to go to work 8, 10, 12, 14 hours a day, 6 days a week. Lord have mercy. My dog's back there having a skirmish. I'm sorry. I'm not sorry. They're dogs. They're living their good life. But used to go to work all that time. I didn't really complain then. I'm not going to complain about having to do a little driving to go get medicine that might save my life. That's crazy. You know what I'm saying? If you ain't hunting the good stuff, you ain't going to find it, people. I promise. You better be hunting it. And that's a little bit of the mindset something like this will give you as you start finding the good stuff easier. You don't have to hunt so hard. I tell people all the time, every morning my cup of coffee tastes like the best cup of coffee I ever had. I'm just happy to be here, man. All right, so we're gonna do radiation today. We ain't nervous about it. You know what I'm saying? It's just one more thing you gotta go through. I talk on the show about best way past something is through it. You gotta step through your trials. You gotta go through your tribulations. They're yours. It's your burden. You gotta carry it. Sometimes you gotta help other people carry stuff too. And you hope the day that you need help, somebody shows up for you. You hope all the work you do while you're strong, there's reciprocity there. Somebody comes back and gives you some of that energy you put out. And I've been lucky, man. I got a great support team. But let's get off this topic, man. Let's get on to what we're talking about today. First thing, let me see if I got this. Whoa, Bobby, get away from Ladybird. I hope that was good. King of the Hill is back, people. The new season is out. I've been watching that. It's actually pretty good. It's not as good as the original, maybe, but it's darn good. Actually, it might be as good as the original. Lord, man, calm it down. Sound like a water buffalo back there. Sorry. Yeah, so King of the Hill's back. That's been cool. I've been enjoying that. I grew up watching King of the Hill with my old man. That's cool. That's cool. I got a couple of things. It's really good Wednesday. I don't like to just... Tuesday's a little more strict and structured. Wednesday's a free show, kind of, So on Willie Good Wednesday, I try to get a little humor in there. Maybe a couple things you ain't thought about. Here's something I had. This was a tweet I saw. I'm going to kind of paraphrase the tweet. My Lord, dogs. Chill out. Okay, so a person who operates a gas station at nighttime has a better understanding of this country than most anyone. Definitely a politician. Definitely has a better understanding of it than a politician. Then they're working for minimum wage, so they understand that part of the world anyways. But then, you think about the clientele that's coming in there at 2 in the morning. I delivered fuel at nighttime, for years. And I can tell you, it's a very different world here in America after dark. Very different world. You get to really find out what kind of places you're in. I went all over different states and stuff. about to stress me. I'm about to go in there and give them that old people's elbow with my good arm. With this arm. Ooh. All right. Maybe they'll calm down. But really think about that. I think that's true. I think a gas station attendant in the middle of the dark is probably that's working in the nighttime. It's got a much better understanding of the country we live in than most people, which is kind of interesting because a lot of people would take that job and think it's demeaning, but it depends on what you're looking for in this life. If you want a real existence, man, that's kind of it's a pretty real existence. There's a lot to be said about that. All right, the next thing I got here is your card declining when you know you have money is probably one of the funniest experiences I've ever had. At least it makes me laugh. I always tell them, man, if it bounces, it'll stretch. I know there's money in there. I just don't know how to get to it. And look, here's the thing about that. I would imagine every single person who comes in there, whether they got money or not, when their card bounces, they probably act like they have money on there. So you can't explain it to this person. They've heard it all. They probably think you're BSing them anyways. So that's always funny to me. It makes me laugh, puts me in an awkward spot. And yeah, as a rule, people who know me very closely know this. I don't ever let anyone out awkward me. That's just a no-go. I can be far more awkward than anyone, so I don't allow it. For reference there, when we started this whole cancer journey, I had to go to Marquis Cancer Center. In the parking lot, there's a woman who sits in a little security house, and she controls the arm, So I pulled up to the gate. I look at her. She looks at me. We make eye contact. She just never says anything. So I'm like, well, I'm not talking first. You're getting paid to be here. So I just sat there too. We just stared at each other. Traffic's coming in behind me. And finally she's like, can I help you? I'm like, I hope so. I think you work here. I think you're getting paid to be here. And so I told her why I'm here, and she got all huffy puffy and raised the gate. And I thought, man, how many people go up there and deal with that? I ain't dealing with that. Strange folks out there. All right, guys. Oh, and we're talking about your card declining. Cash is king. Cash was king. Cash will always be king. You know how you can fix your card declining when you have money? Give them a $5 bill. Hard to decline that. And when people don't decline it, I don't do business with them anymore. Cash is king. Cash is king. The only place, no, that's not even true either. Yeah, cash is king, man. All right, guys, let's get on to a little bit of the news. We got some interesting stuff this morning. Okay, so RFK, Robert F. Kennedy Jr., you guys know he's a health secretary now. I really pulled for that guy, Make America Healthy Again. He's done some good stuff already. I really, really like that guy. I would have voted for him as president if he would have ran. He ended up backing out and jumping in with the MAGA movement, which I thought was cool because, that showed a little unity. He was running as Democrat. Really, he was probably more of kind of well, his family's been Democrat all their, that whole family existence, but he's probably more of an independent type. But he wanted the big bill, so he tried the Democrat. They pushed him out. And I thought it was really cool to see some unity and him hop into a Republican movement, even though that's not the party he aligns with. That shows me good signs right there. I like somebody who can put something like that behind them. I'm not party affiliated at all. Anyways, he is banning soda on EBT, which I think is a great move. And it's not, listen, I still want kids to be able to go get a birthday cake. I want parents to be able to still go get supplies to make a birthday cake with EBT. It's not like I just don't want these kids to ever have sugar again. I don't want people to ever have something tasty in their life. The soda's an issue. Look how much soda is in a can of Mountain Dew, and it's preposterous. Just genuinely wild. So I thought that was a good move. I don't really care. I don't feel positive about it because they're saving money from taxpayer money because they can't buy it. Because after the Doge cuts and all that stuff we saw, I realize now that EBT, welfare, these type of things, they weren't ever our problem. I grew up all my life until January, February there thinking like, man, these people are a plague and they're ruining the country. They're drawing, all this money. Man, after I saw the Doge cuts, changed my opinions about all of that. And that's not the problem. Never was the problem. The problem is we're spending $35 million to record Afghani Sesame Street. I don't know how it cost $30 million to create some sock puppets. And I don't know why we're paying for sock puppet videos to be made for Afghanis. And there was so much that you guys saw all that. Our problem is not people buying soda on EBT financially, but I think that's a good move for people's health. I think that's what the Secretary of Health is supposed to do. I think he's supposed to step in. And if you look at demographics, health demographics, and then you look at and pair it with financial demographics, there is some pretty strong indicators there that a lot of times poverty and obesity go together. That's one thing America has, man. We got an ample amount of food. Everybody's eating here. I've barely ever met one person in this country who's ever went hungry. I'm willing to bet, what I'm saying? I can have this conversation any day, but I'm willing to bet I've went far hungrier in the Army than almost anyone out here. There's a lot of resources in America. So I thought that was a good move. Now, the big piece of news, we talked yesterday about the Hamas hostage video. As of last night, Netanyahu made a statement that they will be taking back the Gaza Strip. Guys, Gaza, I know a lot of you guys don't know where these places are and what it looks like. Gaza is the furthest south western point of Israel, right? It's a little bitty box there. Borders up against Egypt. You've got Jordan on the other side of Israel. And then above Israel, you've got Syria and I believe Lebanon. And so that's just to kind of paint the picture in your mind what's happening. Lowest left corner of Israel is Gaza. That's where most of this trouble's happening at. And Netanyahu, the prime minister of Israel, says he is taking it back. I don't know exactly when. I thought it was very bold to go ahead and push your statement out on that now. And maybe he did that so the civilians have time to displace and get out of there. The Mediterranean Sea's right there. Hopefully they've got some kind of aquatic rescue going on so people can get out of country. Hopefully Egypt will take those people in, the civilians. I mean, there's about 2 million people that live there in Gaza. So when you're talking about taking a spot like that back with military power, you're asking for a lot of trouble. It's very, very complex. There will be civilian casualty. It's not a question. You go back and you look at some of the great urban wars there. You got, some of them that come to mind is like Stalingrad, Fallujah. There's going to be civilian casualty. So I hope they can minimize that. I hope the civilians know well enough. I hope Netanyahu's putting that out, gave the civilians ample amount of time to get out of there. And then also, if you try to take it, even if there's not civilian casualty, the civilians there are going to fight you. Go watch Black Hawk Down or read up on Black Hawk Down and find out about some of those challenges. There was a great documentary I watched. That might have been on Netflix about Black Hawk Down and about the realities. They did a good job. They got people from both sides in on that. And super, super good. Guys, we've been talking for a minute. We're almost at 15 minutes. I'll keep you posted on this. Song of the day is Diving Duck Blues by Taj Mahal and Kevin Mo. I like that old bluesy stuff. All right. Y'all have a really good Wednesday. Get after it. I'm gonna go do my radiation. You know what I'm saying? Get it done, get it behind me. All right, man. Y'all have a good one. Love